Aloha, everyone. I'm very happy to be with you today. My name is Christy Nishita, and I'm a gerontologist at the University of Hawaii in the School of Social Work and Public Health. And I'm also the coordinator for our city's age-friendly Honolulu initiative. The purpose of my presentation today is to share with you more about the age-friendly Honolulu initiative. Specifically, I'll describe what it is and then how the initiative is using intergenerational programs to achieve community change. So specifically, we use intergenerational approaches, meaning we bring together older and younger generations to accomplish different things in the community, including to improve our neighborhoods and the safety of our streets, to attract more students to the field of aging, and build stronger connections across generations to address social isolation. And so I'll explain more as we go along. So Age-Friendly Honolulu is a city and county initiative that started in 2014, and it was championed by then Mayor Kirk Caldwell and continues today with the following goal. We strive to promote this concept called active aging, where older adults are empowered to actively engage and participate in activities. I thought I would start by telling you a little bit more about me, and here is my why, my reason that I was drawn to the field of gerontology and my dedication to the city's age-friendly Honolulu initiative. In this photo, my grandpa is on the bottom left, sitting on the chair, and those are some of his beach friends. And in retirement, he drove from his home in Pearl City to Ala Moana Beach Park every day to meet with his group of friends. And so in this photo, this is actually a small group. His group was actually much larger, of 20 plus friends. And I would always know where to find him. They sat under the same tree, close to the bathrooms. And even when I came home from college, I would know where to find him. And so this group of friends would sit and talk stories, share food all day long. And sometimes my grandpa would jump in the water and swim. So he spent almost 30 years in retirement, and this was his weekly routine. This was his purpose, and as he became more frail, his circle of friends became smaller, and it was hard on him. And towards the end of his life, he went to an adult daycare center using the handy van. But going back, going to the beach every day was his purpose. His group of friends, that's what he enjoyed doing, talking story, sharing food. And so I think about all the city services, the community features that supported his purpose, going to the park, using the facilities at the park, using the bus, the handy van. He needed a cane to get around, so he needed flat surfaces to get around the park. So these city services and community features helped him to age well, helped him to stay active and have purpose. So this is my why, why I'm motivated to figure out how we can better create programs and places to support active aging. And we know that finding this meaningful purpose can support health and longevity. So we want to make sure we have these opportunities readily available in the community and, of course, as part of our age-friendly Honolulu initiative. We also know that in Hawaii, we have a lot to build on to achieve this active aging goal. I think people get it here because of our Native Hawaiian and Asian cultural values, where older adults are traditionally recognized as major sources of wisdom, transmitters of knowledge and experiences to younger generations, that these cultural values are a strength here. making it easier to bring others on board and buy into our age-friendly and our intergenerational work. So our Age-Friendly Honolulu initiative is aligned with hundreds of other efforts that are going on both nationally and even globally to create age-friendly cities. And here's how we organize our effort into these 6 domains. They comprise outdoor spaces, transportation, housing, social involvement, civic participation, community and health services. And so we believe that these domains need attention and need change in order to become a more age-friendly city. Here is a photo from a signing of our Age-Friendly Honolulu Ordinance in 2018. And this was a big day for us. It demonstrated the city's commitment to being age-friendly. And you can see in this photo our former mayor, some members of the city council, and other key stakeholders. And this ordinance was a milestone for us because it requires each city department to lay out specific goals each year for how it'll be more age-friendly. And the ordinance also makes our initiative sustainable as well, because we'll be around even as administrations change. We also have an Age-Friendly Honolulu action plan. It's a big report that identifies needs and opportunities and recommendations for each domain and what we want to do as a city to become more age-friendly. My focus today is to specifically talk about our intergenerational programs. Age-Friendly Honolulu places a high priority on intergenerational exchange, which means intentionally bringing older and younger generations together for mutual benefit. We want youth to see older adults as resources who can share stories, experiences, and skills. At the same time, we want youth to share their ideas and energy and perspectives as well, so that it's a two-way street. So you'll see these values in the 3 intergenerational programs that I will share next. And again, we believe these activities can help older adults find purpose, find meaningful opportunities to engage in the community. And I hope that you'll get excited about them as well and want to join us. So the first one I want to talk about is our efforts to improve neighborhoods by improving pedestrian safety. And we know pedestrian safety is a big issue here in Hawaii. Unfortunately, we have a lot of pedestrian injuries and deaths, especially among older ages. And so we really want to have a focus on how to make our streets safer for our pedestrians. So over the past few years, we have engaged older adults and youth in what are called walk audits. And walk audits are an intentional effort to improve pedestrian safety by assessing the neighborhood. In particular, these photos are from a walk audit in the Waikiki community that included kupuna and youth, city department staff, as well as city leaders. And we use different tools in this process. We had intergenerational teams use an assessment form like this one from AARP. And we also have participants use cameras to document what they see and observe. And so these intergenerational teams walk around with these assessment forms and cameras and note things that they observe. It could be a crack in the sidewalk where there are roots growing up, or a crossing signal, a crossing signal that's much too quick, that counts down too fast. And we get all of these documented on the form, and we get a photo of these issues as well. And then we focus on student and older adult engagement in reflecting and analyzing what they observed on the streets. In this photo, you can see that we had intergenerational teams think critically about the problems that they observed and brainstorm potential solutions. One fun tool that we use is called Minecraft. And Minecraft is a game which you might have heard of. It's popular with youth. And the game is essentially working with virtual Lego bricks. And so in these photos, you can see the youth and older adult paired up. And they're creating a more age-friendly block or street using those virtual Lego bricks. And so you can see it was an opportunity for older adults and youth to work together to discuss, to build this virtual age-friendly street. It was an opportunity for youth to teach older adults how to use Minecraft and play Minecraft to build these age-friendly streets. And we received positive feedback from these kinds of exercises, in particular from older adults who felt, something meaningful, and working with youth made the experience even better. And ultimately, we want these programs to create change. So I don't have a photo of this in particular, but one step that we took was that we held a community action day in Waikiki. So older adults led a community action day where, groups fix cracks and sidewalk hazards in the neighborhood. So next, I want to talk about how we use intergenerational strategies to encourage more students to go into the field of aging as a career. We know that Hawaii has a growing older population, and our state needs more practitioners who specialize in the care of older adults, including geriatricians, geriatric social workers, geriatric nurses, particularly on our neighboring islands as well. And so in general, students training for a health career typically receive only a few hours of training on aging topics, and usually only see older adults who are frail or have dementia as patients. So they don't often see healthy and successful agers in their studies and in their practice. And so we strive to teach students about aging at younger ages in order to change their views on aging, to be more positive and balanced, in order to build empathy and also to empower them to create change. And so in particular for this, we target high school students. And in some of our high schools, they have what is called a health academy. And these students are interested in careers in healthcare, so they enroll in a health academy class at school. And it's a class just like any other class during their school day, where students learn the basics of health, healthcare skills, about career opportunities. So we wanted to reach these students and for them to see the opportunities in aging before they went to a college or university, right? So we just want to put it on their radar. We just want to expose, make them more aware of the career opportunities out there. And in particular, the need and demand for health professionals who work in aging. And so it's very funny because at the beginning of this semester, I come in as a guest lecturer and talk to them and ask them, raise your hand if you're interested in working with older adults, if you're interested in a career in aging. and no one raises their hand. Very few raise their hand at the beginning of the school year. But as you start to talk to them about their older family members and relatives, and the things that they do with them, I mean, then they start to make the connections. Then they have this emotional attachment to the topic. Then they kind of make the connection and see that, oftentimes they are helping out grandma and grandpa, go grocery shopping, help them on the weekends to clean yard. So they may not recognize that they are caregivers, but they are. And so as you start to talk to them, then you can relate to their personal experiences, and these connections can be made. So that's very valuable. And in our work, we try to promote these 4 principles, what we really believe in and what we want students to learn. And we package them into 6 modules. So number 1, we want to ensure that students see the value of elders and learn from them. We want students to change their mindsets on how they view older adults and aging. We want students to see the impact of community and how that impacts health. So how their home environment, their community environment, their social environment impacts their ability to be independent, be engaged, and age in place as well. We also help students build empathy, and also learn about the resilience of elders. So in those empathy experiences, we've had students, wear goggles with Vaseline. We've had students wear gloves with their with their fingers taped up. And the reason for that is that we wanted to mimic certain age-related changes, such as glaucoma, or other types of vision impairment, or arthritis. And we found that exercise to be very meaningful for the students in terms of gaining that perspective and gaining that empathy. But at the same time, we wanted to emphasize how elders can be resilient despite these age-related changes. So we balance that. We balance those empathy experiences with a task for students to look at their neighborhood, look at their family members, and how are older adults resilient, and how do they adapt to those different age-related changes around them. And they'll find that older adults as a population as a whole are very resilient, especially they can see that in their families as well. And then finally, we promote critical thinking about the needs of older adults and caregivers in the community and how to provide support. And so during the pandemic, we had to pivot really quickly. And, despite the challenges with remote learning, we knew that we still wanted to engage the students and work with them. So we couldn't come to the classroom anymore, but we created these online modules for the students. And you can see the slides here, an example of our slide deck where, we still tried to engage them in the different concepts. There were places where they could watch videos and provide feedback. So in the end, we were still successful in being able to continue our project despite the pandemic. And here's a cool feature too. We recruited kupuna mentors to help in the classroom with our curriculum. And these kupuna mentors were specifically identified and recruited and trained by us to work in the class. And we selected these mentors because they are healthy agers. They come to the classroom to share stories and experiences. And we, again, saw this as an opportunity to, again, build that purpose, create those meaningful opportunities for them to engage in the classroom. And the students benefited tremendously as well. So even during the pandemic, the students were able to connect with these kupuna mentors over Zoom and still have that engagement, that opportunity to engage with our kupuna mentors. And so we found some good outcomes from our projects, and here is an example. You can see 2 percentages there. At the beginning of the year, only 2% of students indicated that they were interested in a career working with older adults. And by the end of this school year, that percent went up to 79%. Being open or interested in a career working with older adults. And so we're really proud of those findings, and we continue to work in this area, working with more schools and more students in the state using our elder care curriculum. The third program that I would like to share is a program called Purpose Pals that builds meaningful connections across the generations. And so Purpose Pals, again, wants to emphasize the value, the mutually beneficial value of cultivating these relationships between older and younger generations. And key here is that this program was offered virtually as well. And so we're really proud of our different partnerships that we've had, both locally and nationally, in order to implement this program. And so this program really started in the beginning of the pandemic, and it grew very quickly. We realized the need for more social connection in our lives as we were at home, and there were concerns about social isolation and loneliness as well during the pandemic. So the program begins with a matching process, which was largely between high school and college students and older adults who were recent retirees or who were part of different programs. For example, some were senior center members. And so older and younger pals meet on a video conferencing platform, and our program provided the training that was needed to make sure folks could get onto the video platform and use it. And our program also provided conversation starters to help the pals get to know each other. So pals are free to talk about anything that they had in their mind, but sometimes there was a more structured purpose to these conversations. So for example, we had retired healthcare professionals talk with nursing students. And so they had a real health-related focus to their conversations, which was really interesting because the retired healthcare folks reflected on their career, how the healthcare field has changed. They talked about healthy aging and what that meant. And so it was a really valuable experience for those nursing students. We also had students practice their Japanese language skills with bilingual older pals. And so this photo here is from one of our group get-togethers that we hosted on Zoom as a holiday event, just as another way to socialize as well. We did collect data to look at the outcomes from our program, but for the purpose of today, I'm just going to share some of the anecdotal feedback that we received within our evaluation survey, because I think some of the quotes are very meaningful. So I'll read some of those. For example, on the top left, through these interactions, generations can learn from each other. People can feel less alone. People may also have their only chance to experience a conversation with someone of a big age difference. In the middle, it was like talking to my kids. On the right, I believe I made new friends, which is very nice, and learned from other people's experiences. And on the bottom middle, it brought me joy, relief, and connection to talk to people, learn about them, and share a little bit about myself. So that was some nice feedback that we received. So in summary, age-friendly Honolulu has successfully employed different intergenerational approaches with the goal of helping older adults find purpose and find meaningful opportunities that suit them to engage in the community and address different community issues and needs at the same time. So we talked about the pedestrian safety projects by changing the built environment, meaning our streets, our sidewalks. Workforce development issues, to attract more students to the field of aging, and also an opportunity to build those social connections, even if it's virtually, through the Purpose PALS program. So what's next for us? Well, we plan not only to be age-friendly, but age-empowered as well. And I think you'll see what that means, what I mean by that in the following example. So we are very lucky to have a consultant. Here is a photo of her here. Her name is Dr. Emi Kiyota, and she created a global initiative called Ibasho. And in Japanese, it means a place where one feels a sense of belonging. And this initiative has created community centers called Ibasho houses or Ibasho cafes, and they are in Japan, Nepal, and the Philippines as well. And here's how she's helping us in Honolulu. Her expertise is in helping communities change their thinking about aging. So too often our society sees older adults as a vulnerable population that's in need of care. So she instead advocates and promotes this view of older adults as valuable assets with many potential contributions, including different skills and experiences to the community. So a vision that is very well aligned with our age-friendly Honolulu vision. And so here's a photo of an Ibasho house in Japan. You can see one of the rooms there, and to you, it might very much look and feel like a regular community center. But what's different is in its commitment to being a very normal gathering place where all ages are welcome and all ages want to be there. So efforts are made to include everyone of all ages and abilities, including persons with dementia in daily activities. And so what is also unique and that I love about the model is that there's a leadership group of older adults who run the site and determine the activities. So for example, some of the activities include a community garden outside, as well as a weekly farmers market. So just to show you again what makes it an Ibasho model, what makes Ibasho unique. And I'll just emphasize here, so all the sites in Japan, Nepal, Philippines, they have these principles in place. So on the left side, elders leadership. So the Ibasho is governed, operated, maintained by a group of local elders who make the decisions and plan the different activities that take place at the Ibasho site. Under process, you can see again, they determine the types of activities, services, programs that they want to have in their Ibasho house and in their community. On the right side, activities. They ensure that the activities improve the lives of community members of all ages. And it's not designed, these activities are not designed to care for elders, but allow older adults to offer services that meet the needs of all ages. And on the bottom right, in terms of place, they want to make sure that these Ibasho sites are close to other community services in the neighborhood. They ensure that it's a non-institutional environment, meaning that it doesn't feel like an institution. It feels like a home where all are welcome. Yeah. And the last principle too, embracing imperfection gracefully. So it doesn't have to run perfectly every day. It's just a gathering place that accepts imperfection as well. So I'm sure you want to see what these sites look like. I hope that I've piqued your interest in what an ibasho site looks like. So I'm going to show a video for you next, and this is of the Japan site, the Japan ibasho house or cafe. And you'll see how this site is run and what the activities look like, and you'll see that it's a very beautiful video. And the common thread across all the different sites, Japan, Nepal, Philippines, is that they were created after a natural disaster. So it was created after a tsunami or an earthquake, and it was an opportunity for the community to rebuild with these ibasho sites and to feature the strengths and the knowledge of older adults in the community. So for example, Dr. Kiyota likes to tell this story that after the Japan tsunami and earthquake, it was the older adults, it was the elders in the community that knew how to cook rice without a stove and without a rice cooker. They could cook it over an open flame. And so that's what they needed to do right after the natural disaster in order to feed individuals in the community. So the elders had this knowledge. So it's certainly very valuable, because for me, I'd be lost without the rice cooker. I only know how to turn a button on. So if there's a power outage, I'm sunk. So I'm going to show you this video of the ibasho cafe in Japan.
誰か農業改良普及所が入って農業勉強してきた人ならともかくです売るもんだもの。本当は大変なことよ。
小松菜も2色前でだはずだ。
高齢化社会がこれからもずっと続くわけですけれども、そういう中にあってお元気な高齢者が増えると非常にありがたい。でそういったお元気な高齢者をどういうところでどういう形で活躍していただこうか、社会のためになっていただこうか、あるいは自分たちの楽しみを楽しんでいただこうかという意味で非常に大きな意義があると思います。
そこができるまでっていうのはどんな感じだったんですか。
百姓ってさ、花作り専門だったの、自分やってたけど、あれが専門にやってたのね、で今自分が怪我してるんだから、今それできないからここ来てやっぱりみんなの顔を見て、自分が豊かになってそういう世界ってこと。
高齢者の人たちは昔からの経験とかそういったものを生かしながら、そして地域暮らしているもんですから、そういった輪みたいな仲間意識みたいなものでやってるんで、そこは一番助かるなと思ってます。
僕たちみたいな若者とかは結構元気が、ある方じゃないですか。ですけどそのおじいさんおばあさんたちの方も若者とは違う すごい元気を持ってて、なんかそれをなんか逆になんか自分たちがなんかもらえるなってなんか感じに思いますね。
So I love that video. You know, it's beautiful, and I like it for a couple of reasons. Number one, again, as I mentioned, the activities, you know, the decision making is done by a group of elders. You could see one of the gentlemen there, he was an Ibasho chair. So I love that those activities are determined and run by the local elders in that community. And the other thing that I really like is just how normal of a community place it is. I mean, people want to be there, you know, people are having fun there. So I just love that it's a place that people want to be. So what does that mean for us? Well, Emmy is helping us. Dr. Kyoto is helping us. And we're meeting with a senior center here locally, as well as other community sites here on Oahu. And she's helping these sites adopt these kinds of principles. And how can we strengthen the community sites that we have here so it looks more like an ibasho? You know, looks more like the ibasho that you saw in the video. So that's where she's helping us, and that's where she's helping us to consult. And here I want to show you another video where she is giving us advice. And I'm simply talking story with Emmy, and this is just a short clip of a longer talk story conversation that we had, where I'm asking her, so how can we become more age friendly here in Hawaii and really create these places much like the Ibasho house that you saw in Japan, where elders are really meaningfully engaged. Emmy, what advice do you have for us in Hawaii, where we do have a lot of multi-generational households and a cultural tradition of valuing our elders? How do we build on this and create a community where all residents are socially engaged, healthy, and active, particularly at the oldest ages?
Yes, absolutely. Honolulu can create a city where older persons can be active and engaged. We need to create the platform that offer thoughtful program, service, and places and opportunity for them to get involved in their own community. But we need to keep in mind two things. One, shifting our mindset of ageism. We have to believe that older person can be a part of socially engaged program, and also one fits all does not work when trying to meet the needs of multi-generational needs, who has different interests, background, and experiences. We need to actively listen to what people want and what gives them a sense of purpose and the meaning, regardless of their physical and cognitive capacities are. Then we really need to respond to it and take action. For example, the Japanese example of activities the community members developed were that organic gardening, because they wanted for children to have healthy food, and they quickly learned that to be able to sell, to support the program, they started bi-weekly farmers market And they also provide childcare when they need it, and after-school program organized by retired teachers, and community cultural events. And also Philippines had recycling project because older people wanted to teach children about environmental stewardship. Nepal, in a very similar line, they wanted to teach biodynamic farming for children so that people can get good food, but at the same time educational, because older people want to leave a legacy behind because that's what makes them feel happy. So the point is that the Ibasho examples that I shared show us community members, particularly elders, can be active and involved in the community. And we just need to listen and support what they want.
Yes, that makes sense. So I'm inspired by the activities and roles that elders played at the different Ibasho sites. Emmy. So that's just a clip from a longer conversation that we had together. And so we're really appreciative to have Emmy as a consultant for us here. Her work is very inspiring. She was here in August 2021, and she'll be here again this month, which is January 2022, on site here. And so we can work together in order to really create some meaningful change here in Honolulu. And so I'm excited about the future, and I'm excited about the Age-Friendly Honolulu initiative. So please feel free to reach out if you have any questions about some of our programs. If you would like to get involved, that would be more exciting and wonderful for me. So please feel free to contact me, and I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much.